What's up, sports bettors? I'm going through my best parlay on WynnBet Sportsbook. So, WynnBet Sportsbook is a really cool bookmaker because they offer you a bunch of, perks, free credits, comp dollars, free bets, stuff like that. And also, when you place a parlay, they give you rewards, which are pretty interesting, and we're going to go through in this video. But first, let's go to our legs in the parlay. So, the first bet I have in my parlay is going to be under 2.5 total rounds in Salikov versus Li Jingliang, right? So there's a 2.15% profit margin on this UFC bet. And if we scroll over, we can see under 2.5 is the bet in bold with the circle around it, right? That's the sharp bet you want to be on OddsJam. And we've said this before, but when you're finding bets with value, you can either straight bet them or you can parlay them. If your parlay consists of bets that all have a mathematical edge, all of your bets are profitable, then your parlay will be profitable. So we'll run through kind of the math behind parlays, parlay betting strategy in this video. But long story short, if you look at the odds, for the sportsbooks that have posted, total rounds markets in my state for this specific wager, DraftKings only giving us plus 115, Pinnacle only giving us plus 131. We're getting plus 135 on WynnBet, so a lot of value. And value edges is always what we're looking for as a sports bettor. We're always looking for bets with value, and OddsJam is, constantly scanning these markets, all these money lines, everything like that for you as a sports bettor to try to find you these sharp bets such as under 2.5, total rounds in the Salikov fight. So this is the first bet I'm going to have in my parlay. Then we'll scroll down a bit. These two bets I've already placed, so unfortunately I'm going to skip them over. I've already hit them. And the final bet we have is going to be Braves under 4.5 team total. So if we click into the odds, this bet has a slightly lower profit margin, but once again, you can see there's pretty clear value, right? Caesars is pricing this at minus 125. The sharpest bookmaker, Pinnacle, is pricing this all the way down at minus 122. So the under is clearly heavily juiced. On two sports books, we're able to pick up minus 110 on WynnBet, so pretty good value. We'll go ahead and we'll lock this in as our second bet. So we want to go to the Braves game, boom, and then we want to go to under 4.5 team total, right, for the Braves. So two sharp bets. We'll lock in $100 on this parlay. It says confirm your location, so we'll go ahead and we'll do that. So this is supposed to be Braves. So we have two bets. We're going to run through the math behind our parlay, which is, should be useful if you're curious how you can actually bet on parlays in a profitable way. But again, we're finding bets with an edge on OddsJam, which ultimately just boils down to going through this page. There will always be different bets at different times. The sports betting market is dynamic. Odds are, constantly in flux. But looking for bets where you have the edge, right? So we can see, for Kai Kara France, versus Brandon Moreno, this fight's a bit away, but we're getting pretty good value, right, on Caesars. So this is a bet we want to be on in the UFC, which I already explained in a previous video. I already bet this at plus 190 odds. And you can see DraftKings down at plus 160, Pinnacle down at plus 155. So we're always looking for value as a sports bettor. So we'll go ahead, we'll lock in this parlay. It's going to say the same thing, confirm your location. So let's try that one more time. Retry, and then let's hit this bet. And then it's pretty interesting because if they take my bet, they take my bet. Our parlay comes out to plus 349. Is we can go through WynnBet is they have this little button at the bottom, right? It says spin the wheel. So if we click it, you can see WynnBet, if you have a parlay, they're going to give you a reward, right? And you use your rewards credits right here, 40 chips for a $100 parlay. I currently have 1213 chips, so I'm going to use 40 out of 1213 of my reward points, and they're going to give me some reward, which may be a profit boost, free tickets to a game, a free bet, whatever. But we'll go ahead, we'll spin it, so you can see what is this reward. You've been entered to win an autographed helmet for the Jets. Yay. I mean, not particularly thrilling, but whatever. That's the reward I'm getting for my parlay, and my parlay is already profitable, right? I found two bets with an edge, two profitable bets where I'm getting really good value. So we have $100 staked at, or $100 staked at plus 349 odds. So we're betting 100 to win 349 in profit. And these are the two legs in our parlay, right? So this is parlay betting strategy, right? We need to figure out what is the win probability for both of our bets. So to do that, we're going to use real-time market data, right? Real-time betting odds from the sharpest sportsbook, the most efficient betting market that takes the highest quantity of bets, right? So we can see Pinnacle here. They're pricing Braves under 4.5 team total at minus 122, and they're pricing the over at plus 105. So if we throw that into a zero vig odds calculator, we can see, hey, the win probability for our bet is 52.98%. So again, this calculator on OddsJam is super useful and also just very important. No vig fair odds calculator. What it does is it takes a sportsbook's market and removes the vig, removes the juice to tell you the true win probability for a bet, right? So because, Pinnacle, they have the under favored, we obviously know that Braves under 4.5, according to them, is more likely to hit, right? These are equal and opposite outcomes. The Braves are either going to have over 4.5 or under 4.5 team total runs. It can't be both. It can't be neither. So because the under is more heavily juiced, we know that the sportsbook, right, in this case Pinnacle, the most efficient betting market, a very fair betting market where their odds are very indicative of the true win probability for a bet, their odds are the most accurate, long story short. We know that because they have the under more favored, they think the under is more likely to hit. But we can quantify that mathematically using a no vig odds calculator, right? What this does is it takes a sportsbook's market, removes the vig or juice to tell you the true odds for a bet based on that sportsbook's market, based on their model, as well as the true win probability for a bet. So for Braves under 4.5 team total, it's going to be, 52.98%, right? And again, this calculator should make sense because let's say, some outcome is minus 300. Let's say there's two fighters fighting, right? One fighter is minus 300. So the sportsbook obviously thinks he's much more likely to win. The underdog fighter is plus 250, right? The win probability for the favored fighter is 72.41%. So more likely, right? And then if we put in minus 500, plus 400, that fighter is even more likely to win, right? So sportsbooks obviously imply win probabilities through their odds. And what a no vig fair odds calculator does is it just tells you, hey, based on this sportsbook's market, this is the win probability for your bet. So we can do the same thing for the Salikov fight. For under 2.5 rounds, plus 121, minus 143, right? That's the betting market for the over and the under. The over is favored. So we can see here, the true odds for the under is plus 130. We're getting plus 135 on WynnBet, so we're getting better odds than the true odds, right? Which you can see right here. True odds plus 130, we're getting plus 135. So we're getting better odds than the true odds, which is why our bet is positive EV, right? That's why our bet is mathematically profitable and has an edge. We're getting better odds than the true odds. So the win probability for this bet is 43.47%. So now we know the win probability for both of our bets. These bets are obviously uncorrelated. We have a UFC bet and an MLB bet. They're not correlated. So to figure out the true win probability for our parlay, we multiply both these legs together. And we can see our bet is winning, our parlay is winning 23% of the time, right? We just multiply both of the win probabilities based on, the no vig odds from the sharpest bookmaker in the world, right? So our parlay is hitting 23% of the time. We're staking 100 to win 349. So we can back out our EV or our edge or profit margin, which is 3.4%. So 3.4% profit margin on this parlay, right? It's positive EV. So when you're placing, bets that are positive EV and you're parlaying them together, your parlay will be positive EV. So I went ahead, I locked this in, 2 legs in our parlay, and I could win a Jets helmet, which is pretty cool. So that's my parlay for today. Let me know if you like it. Any questions you have, feel free to comment down below, and let's make some money.